Welcome to Haven Acres.
Beef prices are higher than they've been in years, so why on earth would we buy more cows?
As first-generation farmers living in an old New England farmhouse, every decision we make has to count, especially when it comes to investing in our animals.
Today's video, we're sharing why we made the call to buy beef cattle now, even with rising prices. And it's all part of a plan to offer more to our customers and a part of expanding and growing our homestead.
If you're thinking about raising beef cows, or if you're just curious how small-scale farms like ours make these big decisions, stick around and find out. Let's get to it.
All right.
Good boys.
What did Uncle Jed tell you to do?
Get more cows. That's what he said.
So I suspect people might want to know, who's Uncle Jed?
Uncle Jed's a very good friend. He's kind of like a mentor, father figure, just a really good friend who's invested a lot of time and money and interest and energy into us and our farm and our butcher shop. And so that's who's Uncle Jed. His name's not really Jed, but we call him Uncle Jed.
And he's not really our uncle.
And I'm Jethro, and yeah, so that's who Uncle Jed is.
That's who Uncle Jed is. And generally, Uncle Jed has some pretty sound advice, and generally you follow Uncle Jed's advice.
For the most part, yeah.
How come you didn't follow Uncle Jed's advice this time? Hi, Uncle Jed.
If you're watching this, Uncle Jed, I didn't listen to you again. So yeah, I don't. Ultimately, we love cows for one thing. Not that we need it anymore. And he did say, just get one or two, but I think he might have meant a dozen. So just get 1 or 2 dozen cows if you gotta buy hay. So yeah, just the beef market's changed a lot in the last 8 weeks. Record highs. They were selling feeders for $4 and change a pound, so that's almost doubled what it was just a few weeks ago prior to that. So that, and every single time somebody comes to our farm, they all want beef. So it's not necessarily like, oh, we bought 6 steers, we're going to finish them, we're going to make a huge amount of money. It'll probably be a break-even proposition for the most part, but the idea is that we'll actually have beef to offer and start getting that into the mix of what we can offer people. So we'll have sides and possibly whole or halves available eventually. So there's 3 in there that are probably $6 or $6.50, I would guess. Maybe one of them pushing $700. We're thinking we might be able to finish them off by the end of the year. So we might be able to offer some by the end of this year. So
What are you doing? What are you doing? Because this area is so muddy, we are going to open up another pasture. This is our sacrifice pasture for the winter, but this rainy season has just been ridiculous, and we have to get the cows out of here. So, before we get these cows out of here, we have to introduce the new cows. They've been in quarantine for a few days, and today they're going to get to meet everyone. No gym membership necessary. Boss man knows something's going on. Be nice, boss. As small-scale farmers, we have found it to be a tough dance to keep our own finances in mind, to keep the needs of our customers in mind, and to keep in mind the small-scale model of farming that we so enjoy. We have tried really hard over the years to build our breeding stock so that we would have enough beef to supply our customers with. However, it's really difficult starting from scratch. One thing that we have tried to not do over the years was to buy in beef cattle from other herds. It seems as if we just changed that strategy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hi, Brutus. Uncle Jed has suggested that we sell our beef herd as a business strategy to then take that money and put it towards the butcher shop that we're trying to build and buy cows later. And Uncle Jed's theory always is if you have to buy hay, it's not worth having the cows.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a different market up here than there is down there, for one.
Yep. So lots of people have a couple cows around, but just getting the availability to be able to buy 6 or 8 or 10, weaning steers or heifers or what have you is different up here. Hay is a little bit different up here. Just all the markets are quite a bit different up here, but and it's not that far. We're talking like 100 miles difference. Makes a big difference in what people are getting for things and how much we can, find. We know some farmers that are 5 hours from here on the Vermont, New York border, and their prices of grain, it was $100 to $200 a ton cheaper. Feeders are cheaper, piglets are cheaper, and it's realistically, it's not that far, but it's a huge difference. So yeah, that's some of the reasons. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of hay available up here. There's going to be a potential for a lot of hay fields coming up as people age. Small operations not being able to get up and running, or just not the desire, whatever it is. So I believe that there'll be opportunity for us to be making our own hay in the future, in the next few years. So that will dramatically cut the hay cost. So that's Uncle Jed's rule of thumb. If you have to buy hay, it's not worth it because of what you have to pay for the hay. If you're making the hay, then hay is probably 50% less than what you're doing when you're buying it. So in theory, you could get twice as many cows.
You heard it here first. And after about 20 minutes of getting to know each other, Jesse moved them over to this silvo pasture that we've been working on for a couple of years. As you can see, some birch trees came down, and we still have more work to do. But these cows, this new larger herd, they are enjoying this fresh grass and drier ground. Jesse's bringing them up hay because the grass is not, it's not thick at all. It's just started growing. So in addition to this fresh grass, they will also still get hay. There's little Nutelli right in the middle of the mix. Hi, Nutelli. Hi, honey. Hi, Nutelli. She could care less. Hi, Nutelli. Hi, honey. What are you doing?
Jed said if you're going to be buying hay, you should have more cows.
Call it a gamble, call it a business strategy, call it a leap of faith. You can call it whatever you want, but we got more cows. Thanks for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this whole video on cows, and we appreciate you so much. We'll see you next time at Haven Acres.